And you are.
Oh, wait.
Aww.
Thank you, Anna.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh my gosh.
I slept. Did you?
Yeah, it was really good.
Feels really
I
good.
hope everyone feels good, and thank you for being here. It's such a lift to just see you. Hi, you were here yesterday.
Hey, Jules.
Apologies in advance if we repeat ourselves in any way, but
We're going to do the exact same panel. I'd like to have the exact same people ask the same questions. So you know what to do.
So what?
So what?
So what?
We can. We have people waiting to ask questions. There are microphones there. Feel free to line up. We can just start with questions. Right?
Want to start with questions?
Why not?
Okay.
Let's start with questions. Let's see where it goes. Thank you, Brandon, for the strike call out. But yeah, hi there.
Yes.
Okay. Hello again. I got to see you yesterday.
Oh!
And we were just so awesome as always. Well, something that you mentioned yesterday, so if y'all haven't heard it yet, sorry, I'm going to introduce real quick, where you were talking about your nonprofit organization.
Yes.
So we also have a nonprofit organization ourselves.
What is it?
It's called Odin's Angels, and we search for missing pets. So like, if your fur baby was to ever go missing, we're...
I'm a dog freak.
Oh, no, totally get
I
it.
love dogs.
Cat person here. Dogs are okay.
Yeah, they're too needy for us. It's like, oh, they want to eat again.
We have a camera on our kitty at home right now, so we can check in on her.
Aww, I love that. No, I feel like pets are therapists. Don't you think?
They are.
Yeah.
They're your family.
They're family.
They are.
That's great. So you started that organization?
Yeah, Shelly started it, and of course we started in January of 2020, so hey, yeah, COVID hit, fantastic timing.
What's it called again? So I can
It's
use
called Odin's Angels.
ODIN.
We search, rescue, and recovery group Inc.
Okay.
How many animals have you found and recovered? Also, what percentage are dogs? Because I feel like cats are pretty smart. They come back.
No, cats are terrible. Cats will
No, cats.
We love cats, but they will be like, yeah, that was
Okay.
funny, gotta home them out again.
I'm going to try this. I'm very shy. The first year, including recovery, it was about 93 success rate, and unfortunately, we include recovery in that because
So
of
they'll
closure.
bring closure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
That's a high rate. I could have really used you guys because when I was in Vancouver shooting a show, we lost our cat, and I was devastated. And you know, like someone on the plane told me, keep your cat in for at least a week because they won't know where they are, which was really smart. And my husband goes, why would you listen to someone on the plane, a stranger that you just met? I'm like, because it sounded like really good advice. So he didn't agree with me. So when we moved into the new house, he just showed our cat the pet door. I was like, there you go. And he was gone for 3 months. And it rains almost every day in Vancouver. And I put out hundreds of flyers, and we just walked around with my kids and put them in the mailboxes. And 3 months later,
That's illegal. Don't do that.
it is?
Well, at least in the States it is.
Oh my gosh, well anyway, I could have used you. Anyway,
Wait, and the cat just came
3
out.
months later, a neighbor of ours said, I think I see your cat. And I ran over there, and it was him, and he had lost like 5 pounds.
Yeah, sure.
And he was so scrawny, but he survived, and we got him back.
Wow.
We had one case, he was gone for 11 months, but he's home safe.
That's amazing. Thank you for doing that. Thank you.
Odin's
Gosh.
Angels.
Odin's Angels. Check it out online. And where are you based? Here in Pittsburgh?
No, we're from Buffalo. So about a 3-hour drive.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was worth coming.
Oh, great. Thank you.
We faced a lot of adversity since we've started it from other groups.
Why?
We're in it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Some of the other ones are in it for
Other reasons. We never charge.
Oh, I see where you're going.
We don't ever.
Oh, yeah, oh, man, well, even more hats off to you.
And it's literally just the two of us.
Do you need donations for that? Or sort of?
Yeah, we
That's
run
not
through
donations, but that's not what we're.
I know, but I'm gonna be shameless and segue into my thing, if you don't mind.
Do your thing.
But we're trying to figure out how to overcome it because it's been so
Did
long.
you overcome a lot of adversity when you started yours? It's kind of like the question we were asking, like how do
Oh, yeah, no, to be honest, my
Yeah.
favorite charity is not that easy to fundraise for, except for this group, because you guys are like the kindest hearted people ever. And, but you know why? It's because, well, Homeboy Industries, and Brandon's gonna pass this bucket around like church. It's a charity that is so close to my heart, and I can't stop fundraising for it.
Right.
But basically, it's supporting formerly incarcerated men and women and giving them a second chance at life, right? So, because of that, a lot of people are like, why would I want to support a criminal, right? And the whole idea behind it is that we're not the worst thing we've ever done, and that people deserve. This organization, you know, puts people through an 18-month program that's all free, that removes their tattoos that will say like F-U-C-K on their forehead. Like, you can't find a job like that.
Right.
And then like anger management, they get off drugs and alcohol, like personal therapy, they can get their GED. So and then at the end of the 18 months, they leave with a job and they're ushered back into society. So the transformations are so deep and so loving. So basically, they have they only have a 30% recidivism rate, which is amazing, and the government in the United States has a 70% recidivism rate. So, like, their model really works, and it's so beautiful. So I do a 5K every year to support Homeboy Industries, and so with the donations that we collect yesterday and today, I'm going to post it, if you follow me on social media, on our fundraising page, and then you can see how much you guys contributed. And I just have to say real quick that over the last 12 years, we probably contributed $120,000 to this organization, almost just from the SBF family. This is who you guys are.
I don't know if anyone sees Shawshank Redemption, but it's a great film. I could go on and on about the private and public prison systems here, but like what that means is that less of your tax dollars go to funding this thing that keeps people in prison, right? Like how do we have active members of society that contribute in a positive way if we're just gonna, like, you make a mistake and forever you're locked away and like everyone's paying for
We
it.
can't throw each other away. You know, it's like we forget that we belong to each other, and that's what's so beautiful about this fandom too. Like I feel like so many people have found a place to belong, and that's what we all want as human beings. So, and a lot of times, like it's not even a second chance. People are born into this kind of life, and it's generational, and they can't escape. So this breaks the cycle.
Yeah, there's nature versus nurture, and I think a lot of people are nurtured into a life of crime, into a life that they might not have wanted. And so this is a program that helps facilitate nurture in a positive way.
So yesterday we collected $358.
Wow.
You guys, when I asked people to like put in $1, like people with so many $20 bills, and I just was like, this is not how it is for me at other cons. It's because of the Supernatural family. And so thank you from the bottom of my heart, and for letting me spiel about that.
I just have a statement. If you're ever in a zombie apocalypse, stay away from Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Okay,
Because he'd be a zombie?
duly noted.
Just make sure he doesn't have a bat.
I'd have the barbed wire, son.
Thank you so much for your question and your comments
And your work.
beautiful couple.
How about on this side?
Hi.
Hi.
If you were an action figure, what would your accessories be?
Oh, that's so specific. Probably a belt.
A bell? That's not a good answer.
I hate belts in real life. I just don't. I like pants that will stay up by themselves. I like automatic pants, not belts. But if I were an action figure, I'd have a belt.
Is that?
Is that a real answer?
Is that?
I meant like, like you had like comic books that,
Oh.
that's what I assumed yours might be.
Oh. But if you're an action figure, you don't have like books on the side. I don't know if that works because there's no action in books.
Buy like an action figure, like, comes with some stuff.
You know that picture, like some fans brought me yesterday of me with that gun, and like that, I looked like a badass.
So you want a gun?
What was that shooting? I haven't seen it in so long. Was that like a salt gun?
Is that what you want?
A salt, not a salt, not like a salt, but a salt.
Oh, a gun shooting salt.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Does
I can
anybody know?
picture.
It looked like an automatic thing, an automatic rifle.
Like a Gatling gun, but salt.
What was it?
A fly gun?
Anyway.
Is that what you want as your accessory?
Yeah.
Alright, well,
But you know that they do have salt guns. Salt guns.
salt gun,
Salt guns.
belt.
Yeah. But they kill flies.
Oh, it's a real gun that shoots flies.
Yeah.
Alright, that's pretty cool.
Anyway, thank you. Okay. Hi, Shayla.
Hi, Lauren. Hi, Osric. Now I have to figure out how to word it. So I wanted to know who you both draw your inspiration from as performers, and Osric as well, as a producer and creator of visual content, video content.
Oh. Where are you
I can
drawing
talk,
inspiration for? I don't know if there's like one particular source that I draw things from. I think in everyday life, like I could go to a coffee shop or a restaurant and the waiter would be so inspiring that like I would take a thing from that. Obviously my parents I look to a lot. My brothers, in different moments and elements of their life I'll draw inspiration from. I'll watch a TV show and there'll be like a minor character and just like something that like hits or resonates with me. I'll go through all these YouTube black holes with like people that I don't even know, and there'll be something that sticks with me. So I don't think there's one. I don't really idolize any particular person.
Like a director or someone that you've worked with.
I don't think there's a singular person, right? I take inspiration from everyone and everything, and I think there's one of my first big roles. I played many monks, but I played a Tibetan monk in particular, and I had this little red string around my neck for like a decade, and it's a simple red string with a knot in it. And it was for the role, and I was talking to the Tibetan translator, and he told me the meaning of this red string. He's like, when monks go into the temple and they kind of dedicate their life to this path, one of the things that they make a promise to is to always be a student. And it doesn't matter who you're talking to, it could be a child, but like you have to be open to the fact that like this child could be your next teacher, right? So you have an open heart and an open mind to lessons from everywhere. And this little knot is a reminder of that promise that you make. And it's something that really stuck with me to this day. So like I will try to draw inspiration from the obvious sources, of course, but also anybody, yourself included.
And Lauren, you as an actor?
I like that. Because it's true, you kind of draw inspiration from life, and I don't really have one person either, but I think that, just seeing a lot of different films and plays is really important, and that's for all of us to just support the arts, because you can always just draw inspiration from a performance that just moves you so deeply. And especially during the strike, it's really important that we keep supporting projects. But I feel like, for me, I'm always a little bit more kind of like just working off the moment in the present and sort of a little bit fly by night. So I'm always inspired by people who really delve into the minute details of a character, like Daniel Day-Lewis and Jeremy Strong in Concession. I mean, when I watch those performances, I go, wow, you know what? I can actually see the layers. So there's definitely benefit to doing that. I just never had, I'm so lazy. And so when I think about performances like that or actors, it makes me try a little harder. Like let's like see if we can preload some of this history the way in which they do. I mean, I could never just stay in character 24/7 the way that Daniel Day-Lewis or Jeremy Strong does, because it just would feel too awkward for me. Like that, I think, is holding on to something too much. But I can certainly think about like what was this character's childhood like, you know, and that kind of thing, which is not how I'm used to working. So I feel like it's good to just be influenced by other people's techniques and styles.
That's so funny, Laura, that you mentioned that, because I also, having met some of these wonderful actors, I'm like, I'm a lazy actor. And it's not, like, I know there are things that I could and should be doing to get myself to the point where I would be like, okay, that was pretty good, right? But I also don't gravitate towards it in the same way that, like, on the producing side, I will find, like, if I'm trying to get to, you know, person A, I'll be like, ooh, interesting. How do I get there? And I'll spend hours figuring out, like, oh, I can get to person A by going through person B, who I know through person C and D, and who's kind of connected to person E. And then, you know, I will do that. And then my friends will be like, what did you just do? How did you get that person to talk to you? I'm like, cold emails, right? And there's something really exciting about that I've learned that I do that seems like I'm not lazy in the producing sense, but it's just because it's exciting.
The opposite of lazy. You're like my AP student.
But I'm saying is like there are things that suggest to me that maybe I don't love acting as much as I thought I did, right? So which is why like the producing side has really pulled me in ways that acting never did, because I fell into acting and I just assumed it was the thing that I was doing, and I must have loved it. And I do, right? But it was something that I kind of like learned to appreciate and love. But when I meet those actors, I'm like, oh, I don't love it as much as they do, right?
But you're brilliant though see, I always tell my kids that everything in life is about relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's what you're talking about, where if you have a relationship with someone, and even a good relationship with yourself too, the way that you talk to yourself, but you know, what you're talking about is having these relationships where you can actually feel comfortable enough to ask, hey, person A, could you talk to person B? And you can't do that if you don't have that relationship. So a lot of times people in Hollywood will like network and try to get ahead for themselves, and I always felt like it was a good advice to say, you can't just keep asking for things and not having a real relationship with a person. So like have a genuine friendship with someone, and that you're having interactions where you're not asking for something, because everyone's always doing that, and it's just from the other side of it, it can be really kind of off-putting because it makes you feel uncomfortable.
But the game is, and this is why I enjoy producing, 'cause recognizing that, I'm like, oh, now I have to know what to ask for, who to ask it from, and like what I can offer in return.
There you go. And also, if it's an easy thing to do, people are so happy to help.
And I would say like 95% of people and things that I ask for, even as crazy as it sounds, like they're just as excited about me asking as I am to ask, right? And then it's a good fit. And if they're not, then it's not a good fit. I'm like, oh, I'll have to, you know, rejigger my calculations in terms of what I thought I was offering. And again, I don't do any of that for the acting side, which suggests to me that I'm a lazy actor.
No, that's marketing. You know, because the other thing too is like I was raised Catholic, and you know, you're supposed to just be as humble as possible is the goal. And in Hollywood, geez, you know, if you do that, you're just gonna, you know, fade away. People will, you know, you have to be able to have some ability to promote yourself, and it's just always so icky.
I feel like that's probably not just a Catholic thing. I think that's like, feels like an Asian thing, feels like a minority thing, probably a woman thing.
Everything.
Right, I think like being confident is a skill set that, you know, it took me a long time to learn. But part of it was like understanding the value that I brought forward. And for a long time, that value was zero in my mind. I'm like, I don't know what I could do for anybody, let alone myself, right? And you walk around with imposter syndrome, you're just showing up at these auditions hoping for a job. And it took me more than 20 years to get to the point where, like, now I mean, we don't walk into auditions anymore, but now I would go into an audition knowing the value that I bring. If they hired me, I bring a certain level of professionalism. I will make their set run smoother, faster than I know other people might. And so, like, there's a certain level of confidence that you build, but it comes from understanding my value and, the thousands of hours that I've put into my craft. Despite being a lazy actor, I know I can get a certain caliber.
Yeah, if you're coming from just wanting to be of service, like, how can I help your project? People really like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hey.
Hi. So yesterday at Rob's panel, he was doing impressions of a lot of the people that are here.
God. Did he do the both of us?
Yes.
Did he laugh for Lauren?
Seriously?
Did he laugh for Lauren?
Yeah.
Oh.
Did he do, hey guys, for me?
Wait, Rob did that? You're gonna
Yeah,
ask
Rob, so predictable.
So awesome. Did anyone see him in concert last night? Wasn't he so great? And oh my God, everyone
Okay,
was
let's do our Rob impression. Oh, thanks, Pink. Thanks, Pink. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Freaking love Rob. I know Rob's impression of me is, hi guys. I think that's Rob's impression of me, and for Lauren, your laugh is just so striking.
probably. And hey guys. Yeah, hey guys.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
And Mark, for you, he also told the story of when you broke Jared's
Oh, good.
shoulder. And I just wanted to know your point of view on that and like how you felt in that moment.
Yeah. I mean, it's about a shoulder. His shoulder is not represented by the NPC. Probably should be. I would say I'm weirdly competitive. So I don't want to be, but sometimes I can't help myself. From my perspective, we're in the green room. I was reading. We're in Italy, and everyone was kind of bored. There might have been some drinking. I don't drink. I was just reading my book. And so, but I'm also, because I've never had alcohol in my life, I don't understand how people think necessarily. It's all speculation. And so Jared comes in and he's like, hey, anyone want to wrestle?
Oh no.
Yeah, that's how it happened. I don't, and for whatever reason, I didn't think it was weird. I was just like, all right. So like, I didn't clock anyone else's reactions. I was just like, yeah, sure, I'll wrestle. Right? And I'm like, okay, there's furniture around. I'm like, all right, should we move? And he just like comes right at me, like, oh God, okay, I guess we're doing this.
That's fine, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, but he doesn't know what to do with it. So we were. So he's wrestling, and I'm, fairly physical, and I wasn't like practicing jiu-jitsu or anything at the time, but I kind of knew what I was doing, and he gave me a lot of openings. So before you know it, I'm like a backpack on him, and I got his neck, and like, oh, this is the end. I'm gonna choke you out, my friend. And Jared is also weirdly competitive. So despite like losing oxygen and blood to his brain, which I guess it impairs your decision making. But he doesn't tap out, which is, you gotta like essentially give up.
That's like your safe sign?
Yeah, so like if you're on my back, don't do that. But if you're on my back, there's like a coffee table like this, a couch like this, and I'm like really high up here. He starts like doing this thing. I'm like, oh man, he's like not even for the couch, he's not even for the coffee table, somewhere in between. And so I just like, thankfully he's really big, he's wide, so I'm just like hiding behind his back. Right, so I kind of like tuck and roll. And what happens, I found out later, is that Jared actually like hit his elbow on the way down. Because granted, I could have let go too, but
you're competitive.
But I'm competitive, so I held on and like need to cut off more blood to the brain. And
you hear it crack?
No, I did none of us, like, cause like Shepard was there, Ty was there, Jensen was there, Misha was there. Like everyone was just like cheering so loudly that like, kind of didn't hear anything. And then like we get down, of course, like that's when we let go because he did tap out. And then we're all like sitting there, everyone's still cheering. And then we look over at Jared and he's like pasty white. And we're like, like, Jared, you okay? And he's like, I think I dislocated my shoulder. To which point the room explodes in cheering. Like, and like, I'm like mortified, right? I go pasty white too. And then I have like, I mean, it's mostly Misha, but Misha's like, come on, bro, come on. I'm like, no, hold on, we gotta do something. He's, Jared's hurt. Everyone was just trying so hard to cheer and celebrate it. It's funny now, but at the time, like, you guys are, come on. It was so scary.
Oh God. Wait, so how does someone like put their shoulder back in place then? Did they happen right in that moment?
We tried. This is such a bad idea. I think it was Cliff. Cliff tried. Tom was there too.
It's been so painful.
Well, if it worked,
Did it work?
No, so the first time they tried, I think we thought it worked, but then it didn't. And he just had to go again. It was really scary, and Jared just kind of like went back to the hotel, and I was like for the rest of the day I was just like, oh my god.
So how long was he in rehab? Did it take a long time?
Hold on, we haven't gotten to rehab yet. So we're all going out to dinner. I'm like, I don't know if I should go to dinner. Like maybe I'm like, let me go check in on Jared. He's passed out. He's passed out. Like later on, Cliff and Tama go back to the room and they like put it back in. Like the second time, that one really worked. Like Tama had to hold him down while Cliff like jammed his arm in. Worked the second time, but the first time I think made it worse.
Oh man.
And yeah, I was just like so mortified, and I remember like at the time, the thing that made me feel better, and like kudos to Jared for being such a swell guy, despite the thing, he was just like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm just gonna make sure that Jen calls immigration so that they don't let you back in the country. He's like, just gonna make sure that Bob knows so that they can write you off from the show forever. Okay.
Have you been finished shooting for that day? Or did you guys?
No, we're in Italy at a convention.
Oh.
Right, so we're way out, and oh my god, he's got a sense of humor back. I'm like, that's good, but he, it was like 6 months of rehab. He was in a sling.
Oh my god.
He lost like 20, 30 pounds of muscle. Like it was pretty bad. And then they started the next season with a sling on. And they said a demon did that.
Wow.
Jen said that he was a great father during that time, and they got to spend a lot of time, which was nice. So I'll take that. And now we're okay.
I love that story. I never heard that.
Yeah, it was like so scary at the time, and it made it worse. And because I did not want to celebrate that, and everybody else, because, I mean, you've probably heard some of the wrestling stories. It was a thing that they wrestled a lot at conventions in green rooms or in the hotel rooms. I don't know why, but like Misha was like, dude, I dislocated my elbow this one time. I got like massive rug burn, like we had to film through that. Jensen was talking about his injury from wrestling Jared, so there was a reason why they were celebrating, because it.
You know what? I love how everyone, all the actors always are
Wrestling in the back.
Well, they're so kind that they, like Misha saying that was like they're always trying to make you feel better about whatever's happening.
No, they were trying to make Jared feel bad.
Well, Misha one time, I almost crashed baby. I came within this close, like a paper, like the thickness of a paper. Like that's how close I came to like completely scraping the entire side of baby. I'm not a great driver. Alright, so I'm Asian, but like, don't feel bad. Like, I totaled a car once. I totaled a Jaguar once in a show. So, like, that's what I mean about people like stepping up to say, don't feel bad. But then they actually gave me this, one of the production guys did I was just supposed to pull my car into this position that was next to baby, and there was a sandbag there for me when to stop, because it was, in my defense, it was 2 in the morning, and I was really tired, it was really dark, and it was hard for me to hit that sandbag. I just couldn't do it, and so anyway.
Driving in the dark is hard.
Is it? So anyway, but baby, everyone, it's like they treat it like a person, so. But getting back to your question, the only thing that I can sort of like imitate Mark Shepard is, because everyone, he's actually a sweet teddy bear inside, like, I don't know if you guys probably figured that out, but anyway, when I had to, when hell went into, when the demon went into my body, his character, I did, I had to, right? I had to like...
Well, we're talking about Mark the person.
No, not Mark the person, so Mark the character, the king of hell.
No, we're talking about Mark the person only.
Yeah, but he's not, he is the king of hell.
We're not talking about characters. We're not talking about characters this weekend.
I can't talk about it, I'm stopping, thank you.
Well, you can talk about Mark the person.
I can't.
No. I can't go low like Mark. No.
Thank you for that.
No, can't do it. Can't do Mark. Can you do Mark? I definitely can't do Mark. Hold on. I might have a rich
story though next time.
Might have a rich impression. Now, you know what? I can't do Rich because I can't think of all those crazy things that he says from the South. Something about a truck. Your grandmother's truck is as good as that gooseneck over there.
That's a good attempt.
When I think of Rich, I think of random words strung together that make no sense, but they sound nice.
Okay, sure. You gotta head over here now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name's Dina.
Hi.
I worked at a restaurant for 11 years, and I know it affected how I see things when I'm at a restaurant. I was just wondering, your extensive experience between the both of you in the storytelling industry, how does that affect how you see a story? TV, play, movie, how do you see only the behind-the-scenes stuff? When you watch it, like, wow, that must have been hard, or can you lose yourself in the story still?
If it's done well, I will lose myself in it. If it's not done well, if there's anything that's distracting, I will start thinking about the how and the why and the what, and then I will lose myself in thinking about those things. Right? So if it's done really well, you know, it's an invisible art.
I know what you mean though, because my husband's a contractor, a general contractor, and so whenever we go into someone's house, he's always looking at the moldings and like how they did things and all that. It's like like he knows like everything.
But if there's even contracting, if there's nothing to pick at, and you're looking for it, and then you slowly like go, and then it's wonder again. Right? So I think same with film, because like the moment I'm out of it, then I start thinking like, okay, I feel this way. I would have rather felt another way. Why am I feeling this way? It's because like now we're in the third act, and you know the resolution. It's usually a third act problem. The third act is like, okay, the resolution to this thing, it does not match with the internal conflicts that we're struggling with. In fact, that's lacking completely. Therefore, this physical ending doesn't match the emotional beginning. You know, so I'll be thinking about that from a story structure standpoint in terms of like, oh, that was a really cool shot. Right? I don't think it was necessary. I wonder how much they spent on that. That probably took, you know, so-and-so amount of time. Like the visual effects, clearly they lacked the budget. How would I do that differently? So like I'm very much in that world of thinking, but only if it doesn't like get me lost in the story. But then if it's really, really good, I will watch it again thinking of those things after like, holy smokes, like that was so impressive. That was so well done that now I want to study this and think about how I would approach it. When I saw Everything Everywhere All Once. That's an independent film. When I saw this independent film, Everything Everywhere All at Once, I was like depressed because it was so good. And it was kind of like everything that I've always wanted to do. And like there was a moment I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I have that in me. And then I watched it again, I'm like, okay, I'm recognizing what they did. And then I did more research, I'm like, oh, this is a culmination of their life's work. Everything that...
It won't be the same as what you would
Of
think.
course. I'm like, maybe I would have done this, maybe I would have...
Right.
And you kind of get to the point where you slowly pull back the veil and you think of like how you would. And it always comes down to, yeah, it is possible, it's a lot of work. So I love diving into it. In fact, like if I'm diving into a movie for those reasons, that's great. If it's a really bad movie, it allows me to enjoy that bad movie in ways that I wouldn't have been able to before. Like, sorry if there are Twilight fans here, but I remember watching the first Twilight movie. Sorry, that's a studio thing, but I thought it was, I just wasted 2 hours of my life. I was so upset. Okay, that's a negative call out, so that works.
Yeah, I think it's both.
You're not telling us to watch something.
I have so much respect for what went into a productions, knowing it from the inside. So there's that real sense of appreciation. And there's also like my bullshit meter goes up too. Like that's not, that doesn't feel authentic or real at all. So it's both. But I also feel like, if there was a project that was like an all Asian cast, I just want to support it no matter what. Because a lot of times when I've been in past productions and the Asian community has gone, that's not how it is. Korean rice is not sticky or whatever, and then just like complaining about everything. And it's sort of like, it's so hard to get a project up on network. Please just be supportive because we all have so many different stories that there's plenty of room. And I felt like the antidote was to just write your own story then. If you don't like that, then correct it and with your own story out in the world. So, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Hi guys. It's great to see the two of you together.
Ah.
It's been so long, but
Yeah.
and Lauren, you were at Rob's concert last night.
Yes.
I saw you enjoy it. Osric, were you there?
I was in bed playing games.
At least he's honest.
I was reading a script too, but...
Lauren, do you have any musical talent? Do you sing? Do you play any instruments? And Osric, do you plan on doing another SNS when you're at
What's an SNS?
Saturday Night Special with Alex?
Oh, that's a creation thing.
Yeah.
Lauren, can you talk about your Broadway background and beginnings?
But that's not really...
As a dancer?
I was a dancer, but I really don't sing very well.
Right, but world-class dancer, humble beginnings. Just on Broadway, a little stage called Broadway.
So sweet. That was super fun. But I was so shy when I was young that was like the perfect avenue for me to take because I didn't have to talk,
Right.
but I could still express myself. Because I grew up in a town that had no other Asian people in it. And, it was weird. And so I felt like an outsider. That's what I was trying to say yesterday. I kept looking for the right word. When you feel like a little bit of an outsider. And I feel like that's what bonds this fandom. Like we're all kind of like a little quirky. And then feeling like a little, like finding a place to belong. And this is kind of like fills that need. Which I think is so beautiful.
I mean, I would say, like, even within this group of actors, like, we've all known, like, even if we haven't worked with each other, like, through the conventions, we've gotten to know each other, and I think it's been really cool to see everyone evolve as humans. And part of this thing, and this is where it reciprocates, is like certainly myself, like, I found my voice through this fandom, right? And I know a lot of actors on this show that they also found their voice and they found like their identity in ways that we slowly felt more and more comfortable expressing in ways that we never did before. And I think seeing that reflection in us, like we noticed the fans doing the same, which only like propelled us to like search further and further into like what that meant. right?
It's such a powerful, healing feeling to be seen and accepted, you know, and that's what I love so much about, you know, with my work with Homeboy, and you guys basically gave me the message that we care about what you care about, and that's just like so deeply moving to me. That's like being like so generous to actually, number one, even be interested to find out, and then to support whatever it is. That, I mean, wouldn't it be so great if we had parents like that were just, you know,
You are a parent. You could be.
I'm trying, but it's really hard. You know, you just unconsciously you can't help but make mistakes. You know, and you just, you know, I don't know whether to save up my money for their college or their therapy. You know.
And like even Saturday Night Special, like that was something that I only felt comfortable doing at all because of this fandom, right? So I mean, back then, like I was cosplaying back then, and I remember like it
Which
did
is amazing.
right, and it honestly like it didn't even occur to me that I should do that. It occurred to everyone else, you know. Again, it might have been a little bit stupid back then, but I just felt like, having just met the fan, I'm like, yeah, I feel like these people out there will get it. Like they're doing it. Why? I just want to join in on the fun, right?
Is that the thing where they asked us to do karaoke? What is that?
It's like Saturday.
Saturday.
Well, it's like a concert. It's like Rob's bit.
I
Yeah.
had to do that once and was freaking terrified. So I actually rehearsed. I'm such a nerd.
Well, they rehearse too.
No, I rehearsed my karaoke song.
Oh.
Because I didn't want to mess it up, so I picked
Karaoke. You're supposed to.
I know, but I was so scared. So I did Gwen Stefani's Hollaback Girl because I felt like it was sort of badass, and there's a lot of words in that song, and they go by so fast.
It's okay.
I had to practice.
You did it.
I did it. And people were like singing along.
Yeah, I would not say I'm musically inclined. In fact, I mean, unpopular opinion, but I like the sound of silence. So when I'm driving, sometimes I'll turn off the radio. I also use the radio still. That's how old I am.
I love music so much.
I don't have a Spotify account. I don't notice when music isn't there. And like, I'm the only one that I know that is that way, and so like, it's kind of weird for me to like perform music because like I don't think about music. It's not.
Play guitar and sing.
Well, it was just like another skill set that I'm like, okay, I can learn and like apply myself to these things, but it doesn't draw me in, right? So
I love music more than anything in the world.
Right.
It's on 24/7, and I'm always trying to learn about new music from my kids. So they'll share playlists.
So the answer is we gotta get Lauren on Saturday night.
No, I play a little bit of piano. But I think she might be a
Play piano.
I play piano.
So you can play piano and perform at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can play Borja always has.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you know, but I have like stage fright when
Yeah,
it comes to piano.
so we'll do it together.
I even try to take a beta blocker to calm myself down at my kids' piano recitals. Even that was scary to me because it was classical, so it was Bach, and I'm like, if I go up and forget, then I can't improv that. Like, I can't.
But that's what the band's there for you. You can do.
Yeah, but we're not gonna
Stefani,
play
Hollaback.
Bach. Oh.
You could.
No, that's okay.
And Osric, you can blend it without lose yourself.
Sure. I'll do whatever. Like karaoke, I like a random song selection, probably from the early 2000s, because I haven't
For that question,
updated my.
Brandon, are you standing there like a bodyguard to say it's time? Okay.
Well, we do have time for one more question. If you guys
All
are
right, let's
good
do
with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Hi there.
Hi.
So my question's a bit weird, but would you rather have a pause or a rewind button in your life?
Ooh, pause or rewind button. Ooh. You don't have rewind?
No.
So you like the people that move really fast?
I think pause, because I feel like I just love the people in my life, and like just to see your kids grow up that quickly. I'm like.
Wait, hold on. If it's pause, does everyone just freeze and you can walk around?
Yeah.
And rewind, you can just play it back.
Can we keep him people from getting older?
How many times can you press the button?
Is that the pause? Does that work for the pause button? Because that would be so.
They're frozen.
It's just like everyone else is like standing still and you're the only one walking around.
I mean, that's like.
Wow, that would be long.
Yeah, rewind.
Yeah, rewind. Because otherwise, if you, well, you can't really interact with either though, because rewind, you would just be watching, right? What happened?
Hell, you get to live it. I mean,
Oh, live
that's
it again.
playing the lottery first thing.
I guess that would be more interesting, because you could pick the wonderful ones.
But do you age? There's a caveat. Okay, I'm playing with your what if. Like, if you were to age, like, you consistently age, so you could go back 20 years, but you'll be the same age, and you'll just get older. So by the time you get to present day, you'll be 20 years older.
Wait, that was Benjamin Button, wasn't it?
I don't know. I haven't seen that movie. But
Aging in reverse.
Well, no, you will age forward. So let's say you want to get back to your 20s. No, you're your age now. But back then.
But back then, I'd be so much smarter. I would have made all those dumbass moves.
But you lose that time anyway, so you just get to relive. Okay. That's tough. That's tough. I guess I'll go rewind. I still
You guys are the best. Thank you so much for coming out and just being so supportive.
Okay, sorry. One last question. Lauren, would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Or one horse-sized duck.
One horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? Think about it for a second.
Those are my choices?
Yeah.
Is there a third choice?
No, so would you rather?
Like, I'd rather delegate someone to...
You're in a lobby this morning. You're dropped into the center, and you have like one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses. You can push either button, but the moment you press that button, they're just coming.
Well, are the little baby horses?
And they're aggressive. I should.
Oh, they're gonna hurt me?
We
They're
like
gonna
that.
bite me?
Oh yeah.
But they're like little gnats?
No, ducks. You know how big a duck is?
Yeah,
That big.
that's bigger than a gnat.
But 100 of them.
That sounds terrible. And then the other one sounds terrible too. Can I abstain?
That's not how you play Would You Rather, but guys.
Oh. Okay, so I have to pick one.
Yeah.
Which one would you pick?
I would take the horse-sized duck.
Because of your wrestling skills.
Partially that, but also the sheer mass of 100. I would just get. I don't have
That would be freakish.
I don't have a gas tank anymore. I just get tired.
Yeah, I don't think I could really.
Get through the first 20.
I know. If we weren't in water, I'd pick the horse-sized duck because I could just run away.
Now we're thinking.
There we go.
All right, you're right. In water would be a different story.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you guys. Thank you. Come see us later.
Big thanks to Lauren and Osric. Chau. One more big hand for him. Come on. And if you missed the chance to donate to Homeboy, wave at me. I'll come find you. I'll be up here. We'll make sure.